Very applicable to a lot of people. Go over the mountain if you have dark hair. So now what happens is that everyone with dark hair has to switch spots with someone else. So you can tell like musical chairs. Well,
No, you can't
you
just.
can't just say something, it's like go across over the mountain. So that mountain.
Basically.
So then it's like musical chairs because whoever is like left in the circle standing after everyone like runs to a spot has to say the over the mountain statement. So like go over the mountain if you're from a different state. And obviously like So now you get to, so now you say, go over the mountain, it's done this certain thing. Literally anything.
Be really niche too. That's more fun.
Really niche, you can definitely.
The thing you say does not have to apply to other
But it could apply to the camping.
For those that's not in the campaign.
What does that mean? What does it
You don't know what's coming.
Over the mountain if you've gone to Finlay Market.
I got a good one. It's spooky season, Halloween. Go over the mountain.
What?
Wait, I'm thinking about it. Go over the mountain if you've been to a haunted house. Before.
Oh.
I hyped it up. I did hype it
Go over the mountain if you're wearing glasses.
Oh, it's like my second
Yeah, Adam, get back in.
You don't wanna. Alright, okay. Alright, this one will actually be good. It's spooky season. Alright, go over the mountain. If you've scared adults or children accidentally during Halloween.
No, you gotta get back. I know you're scared.
Alright, let's just share the story.
Alright, over the mountain if you have ever dyed your hair.
Yeah, we don't need a mic. No, it's off.
Over the mountain if you're a One Direction fan.
You don't need to like.
Just sort of count that you had.
That'd be all wrong.
Me too. I used to wait.
Okay. Over the mountain, if you just struggle in chemistry.
What kind of Also, if you've gone before, if you've already been in the circle, you can ask someone to
You don't have to
volunteer.
ask, just choose someone. Go for it.
Ooh, yeah, even more exciting than before now. I'm gonna feel a little guilty if you guys really didn't want to be in the circle.
I do it.
Oh, really quick. we add something in? Can we introduce ourselves when we go inside?
We add everything.
Kylie, I'm giving you a chance.
I'm Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Hi,
Kylie, what are your pronouns? She, her, hers. Cool. Forgot what the pronoun was a second. Over the mountain, if you've ever played soccer.
We get that whole bit more, we're gonna have to wrap up maybe like soon. So everyone start thinking of your own in case you get stuck in the middle. And that's it. Just like, I want to get through as many rounds as possible. Okay, hi guys, I'm Simia. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And go over the mountain if you have white sneakers.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, okay. It's fun.
Go over the mountain if,
Wait, what's your name?
oh, yeah. I'm a G. Go over the mountain if you were born outside the Midwest.
I think, no, I think it's me because I was standing in the same spot. That's my bad. Okay, go over the mountain if you've been to more than 300.
All right. My name's Weston. I use he, him, his pronouns. Go over the mountain if you watch a scary movie this spooky season. We still got some time.
By the way, I know you're about to take a final.
We're fitting a sign.
This is how we do it.
I'm Archie. My pronouns are he, him, his. Go to the mountain if you are close to.
Oh, yeah.
Go over the mountain if you're wearing white socks.
Oh, weird. Hey, you're just saying.
Last pair.
Over the mountain if you're wearing shorts.
Okay, my name is Nate, I use he, him, his pronouns. Go over the mountain if you know how to play an instrument.
Don't mind if I do.
You're new.
Just introduce yourself, your pronouns, and choose it back.
Okay, cool.
Well, start with your name. That's
Okay.
easy.
My name is Sonia. My pronouns are she, her, and move over the mountain if you have more than 3 siblings.
Ooh.
Oh. Hey guys, my name is Emma. She, her, hers. Move over the mountain if you went somewhere during fall break. Anywhere?
All right, my name is Maria. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Go over the mountain if your mask is any shade of blue.
Wait, what?
Wait, let's start wrapping up, yeah.
Should we do one last
One,
one?
one last one.
Who wants to do the last one? Who's second?
Anyone?
I got it, bro.
I got it.
I'm gonna make.
No,
Okay,
okay.
no, no, you.
Sean, I want to hear you. I want to hear you. We have things to do.
All right, my name is Noah, I use he, him as pronouns. Over the mountain, if you're my younger brother. I just wanted to get things.
Go over the mountain if you're Indian. Okay, I gotta put you. Go over the mountain if you don't like people.
Oh, wait. I'm like standing between the mountains. Like, a teacher or a no, but that's okay. Everyone has their valid, their experience is valid. I guess.
Alright, cool, so go ahead and sit down, instead of being in the same spot, maybe you made new
Yeah,
friends.
make new friends.
Wait, are we supposed to have a board here? Oh, no. Okay, so
All right. Got
Well, everyone just heard your dumb jokes.
Also, today I featured two Nate and Kyle comics. I think Nate and Kyle's in like comics for that person. It's like, look at those. As always, if you have any more submissions, feel free to group me, DM me, or DM me in any other aspect of social media, or text me.
I love these memes. I'm ready. This is the first time I've used a mic. I have to say it's very different. I feel like I'm about to do stand-up comedy, but wrong setting. So today is the Grow Party. We're going to be introducing the Grow internship. We're going to be talking a little bit about what it's about. We have some new faces here. So again, this is a totally comfortable space. Like if you don't know much about SAW, about GlowMed, that's why you're here. You're eager to learn, and we have some fun activities planned for you guys. To start us off, we have a video about SAW. I know.
I think you're okay without it.
Yeah, I can go without it. It's okay.
Talking shit.
I really felt like I was about to do stand up, but it's okay. So yeah, first up, we have a short video of a bike tour around the SAW compound. So a lot of the times you guys hear about the different programs that SAW has, you hear a lot about the initiatives that they run. But it's very hard, just hearing about it, reading it, it's hard to understand and visualize what the setting is there, what it's actually like. So we'll play a short, just the first 3 minutes of the video, just so you guys can get some more background, some context on what actually goes on at SAW. There is, but yeah, could you share it?
Wait, that's admin?
Ready? Go. Right.
I like how.
This is not.
Yeah, I got it. No, maybe.
Okay, guys, we've had some mic issues and some audio issues, so there's just captions, so feel free to read the captions on there. Yep, we'll just get started with the video. Yeah, I can do that. That works too.
You want me to narrate the changes?
Yeah, that actually be better.
Sashika, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Sashika. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm a girl intern from 2019, which was sadly our last in-person intern. And I also worked at headquarters last year. Okay, so this video was taken by Anna and Aslan because around 2017. And a lot of things have changed since then. So you can kind of just see what the streets of Maysot look like. And as we go through, hopefully the captions will show us like, so Anna's riding on the back of ATL's motorcycle. I guess these captions aren't very helpful, but to my understanding, this is Saw's old office.
This is Saw's healthcare.
Oh, it's Healthcare House. Okay, here we go. So Healthcare House is next to the office, which I think is probably the next one, but nothing is actually there anymore except for the Healthcare House. It was for women with HIV and AIDS. And we were actually wondering if that's still a program because as of 2019, it was in its last year because it was not getting funding. But everything, as you'll see, is like spread into different houses in the city, and this is what the city looks like. And it made it very difficult because anytime they needed to like move from location to location as staff members, we had to like physically go to a different house in the city. So now we're at Saw Compound, not in the video, in real life. So I was at Saw Compound, which is slightly outside, and I'll show you when they drive over to the more rural area, but it's still really cool to see because the interns who are staying there in summer, they're still residing in their city car.
I'll put you in the credits.
I guess we can like jump through it. Oh, this is the green. Oh, this, yeah. Which isn't one anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have green center. This is for orphan. Okay. Safe house is there, yeah, orphan and abandoned and children farm. And that's Alex, another one of the girl interns. Okay, so the growth party, all they used to do was talk about how they all used to get chased by dogs. And that is a real part of the grow experience, so we brought that today. But we promise to tell you more than just that. If you want to skip ahead, I think we might be just. Yeah, okay, here we go. So now we're kind of starting to get to the more rural area of Saw. So around this exact time that this video was taken, Saw had this issue, like I mentioned earlier, that whenever they needed to like help or like a staff member needed to move to a different building, they had to like literally go there. The building was in a different part of the city. On top of that, like they mentioned, like some of the boarding houses house like kids who have been trafficked, who've been orphaned. And so their privacy is really, really important. So they also, it's not working. Yay. This is also not a shelter anymore, but it was gender-based violence.
Okay, anything else? Yeah. At the office, yeah. As a listener, everyone's playing baseball.
Because I think that's the way to read. But anyway, I'll be back.
I'm doing my best, dude. Okay, you had the opportunity to prove yourself. India, Chris is way better at riding on the back of a bicycle than your Aslan.
What?
Not both, Aslan. You guys made it like 4 feet.
I didn't see the kid today. Whatever. I just don't have the
We have video. This is way better than Aslan.
Yeah. it's cut off there. So yeah, that's to give you a glimpse of the different programs and different services that SAW offers. A lot of the times, you guys have learned about them in previous meetings. And that video is to show you what Grow interns have done in the past to kind of bring it back to chapter, show the different services that SAW has. But yeah, now moving on to the Grow internship. What is Grow? You guys have heard about it. You guys know that it's one of the main ways we connect with SAW as a chapter. And to give you guys some context on where it is, how has it worked within the past few years. Initially, every chapter of GlobeEd had it in person. We would go to Mae Sot, Thailand. We would work with our partner on the ground. Recently, in the past 2 years, it has been virtual, but there can be a lot of work done virtually. You'll see that through the stations. A lot of the help can actually, you can bring on more team members, can facilitate more communication virtually. But overall, the Grow internship happens within the summer. It starts in May, goes on for 2 months, ends sometime June, July. There's some flexibility if it's virtual. And the Grow interns are you guys. All of you guys can apply, whether you're a new member, whether it's your first meeting here. All of you guys can apply and should apply because you have learned a lot about what our chapter stands for, what our values are, and how we can help SAW with the work that we do. And this is really big. We'll explain it later on as well. The Grow application will be sent out tonight at midnight. It's standard every year that it's done. It's sent out at midnight, and the application will be due in 2.5 weeks. But yeah, that's just a brief overview. Do you guys have any general questions now? I know it's a lot of information. We'll get more into the details, have some more activities planned out later on. But yeah, any questions now? Cool. But now we can continue with the application. So there are 3 parts. The first part is just asking about personal information, your commitment to GlobeMed, what you're passionate about in GlobeMed. The second part has a few short answer questions, and it's looking more of your role in a team. How have you demonstrated different leadership traits that align with GlobeMed's values? And all of you here, in your discussions, and by the fact that you're showing up to this meeting on a Sunday evening, all of you guys have those leadership skills, and all of you guys should apply both. And then finally, the project proposal. This is kind of where your creativity will play based off your understanding about the programs run at SAW and different ways that we can help, different ways we've helped in the past. You will form a project proposal where you introduce an idea where you might lead in the actual internship. But those are the 3 main parts. They're all due at different times, 2.5 weeks with the project proposal due in 3.5 weeks. Again, it's a lot of information, but it's not that stressful. We'll also break it down for you later on at the stations. Yeah. So for part 2, which is the short answer questions, it's de-identified. So all of your answers will remain anonymous. And it's like that to remove any bias, whether you're a new member or even someone on the exec team, all your guys' answers matter. We won't look at someone differently because we don't know whose application that is. So that should make you guys feel more comfortable. as you're applying, and it's something to look out for. But yeah, I guess we can start stations. Jonathan, do you know where?
Yeah, sure, I'll take over.
Cool.
All right, so we're gonna split off into 4 groups. You guys are gonna be rotating through stations around the room. So we have station 1 is various calligraphy with Maria over there. Then we're gonna have the a matching activity over there. Then we're gonna have Adam talking about grow projects there. And then we're gonna have a bingo game over there. This is all set up to get you guys more familiar with some of the terminology that we use in when talking about SAW and our partnership. So then when you guys are applying to grow, you have the right terminology to use and you feel more comfortable with the application process. When you guys are talking to Maria, if you have any questions at all about grow, about GlobeNet, about anything, she's a great resource to use. Sashka will also be helping out at that station. So since she was a grow intern for a little while, oh, she's not.
Kirsten is.
Kirsten is, okay, sorry. Kirsten and Maria, we're both grow interns this past summer. So if you have any questions about the virtual grow experience, they'll be more than happy to help you. And any other questions in general, talk to me, talk to Simia, or our new partnerships committee members who will be helping us run these stations. So we're going to start off just counting off in 4s. So Ariba, if you want to go with 1,
2,
3,
4, 1,
2,
1, 2, 3, 4, 2.
Nate.
4.
Great, all right. So we'll have 1 starting off with Maria over there, 3 back there, 3 in my corner, and 4 over there.
We're gonna steal his chair and just so we can angle the camera better, maybe. I don't know. Are we standing? Let's just set it to this.
You're moving, so.
I'm good with whatever I with the camera, so it's not just facing it.
Where should we start? Which station?
Oh, are we on station 3?
This is station.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's what I thought.
You're running this one, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
The station 2's over there.
Yep. You're good.
Yeah, I think we're station 2.
I think it's-
Hey, what's up, guys? I can do like a quick round of introductions just to start off. But yeah, my name's Adam. My pronouns are he, him, his. We can all sit down in a circle. All right, stand up. Get on the ground. And like, so quick round of introductions because we'll be with each other the rest of the night. My name's Adam. My pronouns are he, him, his.
I'm Archie, my pronouns are he and his.
I'm Brooke. My pronouns are she, her. I'm Monica. My pronouns are she, her. My pronouns are also
And in this station, we'll talk a little bit about the crisis in Myanmar and Thailand, and also introduce the grow projects. You know, I think sometimes it can feel difficult to come up with an idea and kind of carry it out, but this station should really break it down, make you feel more comfortable. So to start us off, there are a few articles about, you know, the coup in Myanmar. Are you guys, any of you guys familiar about it?
Wait, where?
In Myanmar, in
Oh,
Burma.
yeah, I know where we are.
Could you share some more information about what you know? Anything.
I mean, it's in Southern Asia, I think.
Yeah.
It's near Bhutan.
Yep.
I believe.
Borders Thailand.
Yeah.
So that's where you find where Burmese migrants are when they migrate to Thailand. But actually, instead of reading the articles, we can make it more of a conversation. Sachika, if you want to share a little bit of context about the coup and its impact.
Okay, so to be honest, I haven't done much research into the connection between this coup and the one that happened like 20 years ago. But basically, when the crisis began, there was an uprising and a lot of violence in Myanmar. Basically, like journalists, anyone who was kind of fighting for the truth and like the power of speech and stuff was being targeted and were either killed or like pushed out of Myanmar. So oh my god, AA Mar is the kind of the director, I think executive director of SOP, and so she left Myanmar during that crisis. She was a journalist and she was targeted for reporting about the truth and like what was really going on. And so her and a couple of other just adults were also migrating at the same time. And we use the term migrating because refugee is a political term and Thailand doesn't acknowledge Burmese migrants as refugees. And the reason that they don't do that is because then they would have like political obligations towards them, like getting them housed and making sure that obviously their experiences are better than they actually are right now. So we don't choose to call them, so you can use the word interchangeably. I often say refugees when I'm explaining it to people outside of Burma because it helps them understand what's going on. But it's also important to remember that they're not refugees because they're not getting any of the support that refugees would be getting in Thailand. So that's why they're called migrants. But yeah, so they went over to Thailand and they formed SAW because of this. They needed social support because everyone who was migrating was illegal. They were located in this region. There's a lot of mixed politics because there's so many Burmese migrants in Mesa and on the Thai-Burma border inside Thailand that like a lot of their economy is dependent on these people's work and on them like living there. So it is like every other refugee or migrant crisis, very messed up. But that's kind of what it is right now. When SAW started, they like created all these different social supports. Like they mentioned, there was a gender-based violence house, there was an HIV/AIDS house, there were all these different programs. They had a mobile medical team because there were a lot of migrants in the rural areas who were working as like farm workers who weren't able to like literally cross the highway to get to the hospital. So the migrants who were in the city could at least get there and then usually still didn't get good care. But the migrants who were working in the rural regions couldn't even get there without risking like being found. So they did all these things and then that's kind of how it started. But any questions about the founding or just like who the players were or how they got there?
Can you explain a little bit about like what was like political?
Yes, I am trying to remember myself. But basically there was an uprising. I think it's called like the 80, Matthew was the one who would just really good at explaining all of this. But
I do know that after the election, AMR, she won it by a landslide. Oh.
I do that too. They're both incredible women.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just on slightly different scales.
Yeah. But she won it by a landslide, and the army kind of used intimidation and kind of framed her for not abiding COVID rules and regulations and pretty much took over the government. So it was a sudden change. It was right after the election, after they won like democratically, and took over the government.
Yeah, so they basically really jailed her. Essentially. But it's not the one that's recent right now. I don't want to. Yes, that is the one that's recent. So Aung San Suu Kyi, I think, was one of the leaders who came out of after like the uprising initially happened, was people rallied around her, and she is definitely like a controversial leader. She was one of the main. I think she has been like extremely involved in like the persecution of Rohingya Muslims in Burma. So she is definitely not perfect, but a lot of people rallied around her in the sense that she was able to represent the like needs of the common people and the majority in Burma who weren't being listened to. So when we talk to SAW about them, they'll give you like a very glowing review of her, and that's just something to be aware of. That is that they kind of like she like every other typical leader. But yeah, so she was jailed, and when that happened, basically the military took over. So Myanmar is already an extremely like political, like it's already like a police state in the sense that like every few miles you hit a checkpoint. They check your passport if you're from foreign, if they check your ID if you're from there. Like when we went over, we had to print 25 copies of our passport just to get to like one city. So all of that was like seriously like heightened in the sense that they weren't really letting people leave. There was a lot of violence, like and that continued from we're in 2021, so this started in February 2021. Yeah, so about like, I think it continued with not much of a people's response. Like, people were kind of fighting back individually, but it was like with whatever they had. Like they were using like Molotov cocktails, like hiding in like underground like stores and stuff. Like it was very much like a people's response. But in the past like 3 months, they've all kind of organized as people and started training and teaching each other how to use guns and stuff.
You guys can see an
Is
example
that
of that.
on the video?
Yeah. This is the boys in Myanmar. They are correct me if I'm wrong, but they are just a collective entity who has organized different rebellions and different protests to advocate for kind of the reinstatement of Aung San Suu Kyi. And this is just an example of, to give you guys like, you don't really see this on the news, it's not really talked about, of kind of the protests and the movement that's happening there right now.
Like entire villages just burned down and everyone killed.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but you guys have about like
A minute left.
okay, a minute and 20 seconds.
A minute. But the main point of bringing this up is just to say that the climate in Myanmar and Thailand has changed. With that being said, when you think about different grow projects, how could you address those changes in a grow project with our partner? And again, this is just being creative, all the creative freedom that you guys want. To give you guys an example of last year's, one of the projects that we focused on is our newsletter. Have you guys seen our Instagram at all? Last year we posted like bi-weekly basis a newsletter that kind of talked about what's going on the ground at SAW, but also what the grow interns are doing. Here are a few examples of the newsletter. There are multiple copies. Feel free to look at it and roll through it, but it basically talked about just what's going on in Grow with the Grow interns, what's going on with SAW, and it's how we connected back to chapter. So when you guys think about, making your project proposal, there are kind of 3 different things to focus on. The first thing is teamwork. How can you incorporate a project with others as a team? And then the second one being how to connect it back directly to our partner and then bring it back to the chapter. That was definitely the rush.
But like, you can always ask that a question.
Yeah, you can always ask me questions. I'll also set up.
The biggest thing is we're not asking you to solve the refugee crisis. It's what research needs to do to understand what's going on in Burma versus how SAW is addressing it, and then how can we support SAW.
Thank you guys.
How does this station work? Are we like setting up like standing around this thing? Okay. Maybe it's just have to, maybe it's just hold the camera. It's mostly going to be discussion based. So it should be okay. Hey everyone, so this is going to be Grow Bingo. So we want you guys to get a little bit more familiar with the concept around Grow. So the next session there is going to be more basic terminology, but this is going to be some more abstract concepts to learn more about these ideas when you communicate them in your Grow application. So if everyone takes a bingo card, we probably should have gotten like candy or something as prizes, but unfortunately we just. I think like one of these pencils works, so you may just have to figure out which one it is and then share. But there's only 3 on the card, so it's not too big of a deal. What we're going to do is we're going to read off the definition for one of these terms that's on the sheet, and then we guys are going to discuss like which of these words you think it matches, and then we'll talk a little bit about what that means, if there's any examples you can think of, or how it connects to SAW and to GrowMed. So Rashad, if you want to just give us a random definition.
Okay, wait, this is a free space.
It's a free space. It's Adam's face, which was the hardest part of doing this bingo card, but it was the most essential.
All right, so person GlowMed chapter stay in contact with, like ATL, to learn about the community they are serving and make decisions related to a partnership development.
Wait, can you reread that? I'm sorry.
The person GlowMed chapter stay in contact with, like ATL, to learn about the community they are serving and to make decisions related to partnership development.
Yep, you've all marked it down already, partner contact.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, we should have introduced ourselves when we started. I actually don't know everybody's name here. So, hey everyone, I'm Jonathan, he, him, his pronouns.
I'm Rashawn, he, him, his pronouns.
I'm actually here and there.
Nor, she, her.
My name is Katie and my pronouns are she, her, hers.
I'm Naga, she, her, hers.
I'm Brooke, she, her, hers.
Great, thank you. I should be better about that. So Archie and Katie, I did not know your names. So nice to meet you and welcome to Glowman. So yes, you guys already got it, partner contact. So ATL is our partner contact at SAW. So if you don't know, GlobeMed is actually a network of student orgs all around the country. And all of them are partnered with an organization somewhere in the world that works in improving health outcomes for people. All of those student chapters around the country will also have a partner contact there. That partner contact is responsible for communicating updates about the progress of the organization. We work with them to reflect on the progress we're making towards our goals, making sure that our funding is still meeting the needs of the organization. And then for ATL specifically, he's Burmese, and so he's got a lot of personal connections to the coup that's happening in Myanmar. His family is still there, his village is still involved in the conflict that's going on there. So whenever we talk to him monthly, which we actually have a call coming up this Wednesday at 9 p.m., we get to hear updates about that and get more information about both SAW and the political situation in Myanmar, which is very important to us. All right, any questions about the partner contacts? Okay.
Okay, so empowering people to make informed decisions about their body by providing awareness and education about concepts related to health and personal hygiene.
Health education, nice. So this one's pretty important to GlobeMed. This is really the foundational belief of a lot of the partner organizations that we partner with. The primary way that we enact this at SAW is through CHOP, which stands for the Community Health Outreach Program. It's one of the programs that SAW runs in Thailand. What they do is they train peer educators around in the communities that are around their buildings, and then those peer educators will train their own communities about issues like reproductive health, personal hygiene, transmissible diseases. It's much more impactful when it's coming from someone who you know and trust rather than it would be from just some random person flying in and trying to teach you this sort of stuff.
Didn't you get a bingo?
Oh, yeah, you got a bingo.
Oh,
Congrats, you
what's my prize?
you win. You win. That's it.
So,
All right. If somebody else would like to get a bingo, if you want to take a stab at trying to define one of the words on here, and then we can talk a little bit about it, and then come to a definition we agree on. Now that looks like you got a couple options there.
I'll say that. You got it.
Katie, take a stab. This is one of our norms. Sorry, go ahead.
So the grassroots organization is something that starts from the ground up.
Mhm.
And I forget what you said.
Yeah, something that starts from the ground up without any form of support from a larger agency, like GlobeMed. Like GlobeMed.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of metaphor for grassroots organizations. If you think of grass, it's widespread over a large area. It's got lots of roots in the ground. So it's support that's coming for the plant from a very large area, lots of small individual pieces. And so SAW is a good example. GlobeMed's also a good example, like Harnor mentioned. Do you want to read the actual definition that we came up with?
So an organization like SAW that uses people to enact change in their community through collective action.
Yeah. Harnor, anything else you want to say about grassroots organizations?
I like grassroots organizations.
We all do. They're great to be part of. So you can find them in many different fields. We primarily work with health education ones, but you can find them in political organizations, economic organizations, whatever floats your boat. All right. Any other words on here that you guys are particularly interested in or want more information about?
Can you talk more about the partnership model?
Yeah, for sure. Sean, do you want to give us the definition?
Okay, so partnership model is a long-term multi-organizational commitment arranged to achieve and coordinate goals by sharing resources and data.
So that's kind of one of the headier ones. That's a more difficult one to understand and explain. But that's a core part of how GlobeMed operates is through the partnership model. So like we mentioned, our partner is SAW, Social Action for Children and Women in Mae Sot, Thailand. And what we do is instead of just sending money to a charity somewhere overseas and never knowing what goes on with that, we have a long-term sustainable partnership with them. So we together have created documents that talk about what our goals are for this partnership and how we want to see it evolve and change over the years that we're going to be partnered with them. We've been partnered with them since 2010 or 11, so 10 or 11 years now. That is actually the longest running partnership in GlobeNet in the entire country. It's at the University of Cincinnati. And so a large part of that is because of people like ATL, like people on our e-board and chapter members like you that come and make this partnership model possible. We learn about our partner and about the communities that they serve, make sure that the funding that we're sending them is supporting them adequately. We're continually revising and updating our goals and the ways that we support them to make sure that we're meeting the goals we've set. And yeah, that's the partnership model. Anything else to add, anybody, or any other questions about it?
I think, like the whole idea of like continually reflecting. So every single, I think it's like every single year, right? Yep. Every single year, they ATL and GlobeNet meets up and they have a meeting where they discuss on the goals and whether they've been achieved, and then if they've been achieved or not, they reflect on that, just to make sure it doesn't go to waste.
Yeah, it's our partnership action framework. So there's several phases that it's broken up into that we revisit every year. This is kind of high level GlobeNet stuff. Like once you get onto keyboards, it's a little bit more important to know. But that's just how we make sure that we're meeting the needs of our partner as best as we can. Yeah. Any other words on there that you guys like to talk about? Unlimited funding, popular one. All right, so when you donate money to, say, the World Health Organization or Doctors Without Borders, whatever, oftentimes that money is earmarked or restricted to being spent on a very particular area. So take malaria nets. If you donate $10 to buy 10 malaria nets to the World Health Organization, but they suddenly have 1 billion malaria nets, they cannot spend those $10 on anything else. It has been restricted to malaria nets purchases only. The money that we send to SAW is unrestricted funding. So while we say that we're funding CHOP, because that's primarily the project that we work on, if SAW decides that they actually need transportation, office supplies to pay their peer educators, they have no restrictions on what they can spend that money on. And so that's important because it's respecting the needs of our partner and their understanding of their own needs. So we're not limiting them and saying you can only use for CHOP.
Okay, about a minute ish, and then you're gonna switch over to Maria Station. Did any of you guys get the bingo?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Audrey,
Teresa.
Ashi, Katie, and I mean, I think at some point everybody's submitting. There's only you need on here. All right. Well, any last questions or thoughts from anybody?
Sorry, I have a question. You
Yeah.
said the meeting with ATL is this Wednesday.
Yes,
What
this
time?
Wednesday, 9 p.m. It'll be in Lindner Hall. There's an 11-hour time difference, which is why it's pretty late at night. But yeah, so 9 p.m. if you guys can make it, we'll send out more information in the grouping and also talk about it in the chapter meeting.
Which Lindner, that one, right? The business?
The business one.
Okay.
That's over there.
Yeah, you pointed that way and I was like, oh.
You know what?
wait,
Yeah, I picked a directionally pointed.
No, one is Linder. Oh, no, one is Linder.
They're both Lindner.
There's only just six.
The Lindner family funded a lot of stuff.
My chemistry class last year was in that building and I accidentally went to vote.
Okay,
So there's
so
just
Maria Station 1.
How's it working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We one personnel, so
Yeah, I forgot to talk. If someone has questions.
I'm basically just here to
Yeah.
shadow.
Yeah, maybe let them know that like, if they have any questions, they can put it in the chat. Let me consult it.
I would have just been like, well, sorry, professor, went to the wrong window.
All right, see you guys later.
Wait a minute, let me set this laptop.
Oh, hello. What's up, everyone? These are like fun little pets, right? Oh, cool. We have a virtual group with us. Cool. I wish I had a paper for them. Hello. Let me know when I can get started, Noah. Sweet. Okay, so hi everyone. We're quickly going to introduce ourselves first, but for a lot of you, like Brooke, you have participated in this already, so feel free to jump in with any of your thoughts. Okay, my name's Maria. My pronouns are she, her, hers. You guys already know me, but hello. Who is on the call if I
Henry.
can ask? Who?
Henry.
Awesome. Hi, Henry. What's up?
So I participated in the Grow internship for 2 years. I participated 2 summers ago when initially we had made plans to be on the ground and carry out some projects in person. And then in March, unfortunately, with the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to shift to a virtual format. So in that shift, we had to change all of our projects that we had planned. But then I also participated in last summer's Grow internship with Kirtan. So there was a lot of different projects that we did, but one that Kirtan is going to talk to you about today is a project that Elizabeth and I and the rest of the Grow interns got to help out with, which is a Grow newsletter. So yeah, do you want to show it off?
So I'm Kirtan, pronounced she, hers. And I was a Grow intern this past summer, which was a little more structured because I was going into it knowing it was virtual. And so one of the projects is the newsletter. And so it's a newsletter, and we publish it through our Instagram as well as sent it out in an email. It was just a way for us to like spotlight our Grow interns as well as any pieces that they were interested in writing. And it was also a way for us to, like, as Marie has written out here, is to learn a Burmese word. So ATL would be kind enough to send us some Burmese words that he think was applicable for like any of these newsletters. Some of them are like community and partnership. And so we have it over here. And then this one is actually the one I like kind of wrote about a piece on LGBT community around Pride Month. I kind of want to write a piece about that, like how it is in Thailand. And we'd also include any of our pictures that we'd have, like with our virtual meetings with HCL or with the SAW students. I would include a picture right here.
Yeah, you can feel free to take a look or like kind of pass it around if you're interested or haven't seen it before. Yeah. Sorry, Brooke, I'm literally handing it to you. Friends that are online, Henry, if you go to our Instagram, all of our newsletters can be found there too. So they were made into Instagram format, and if you want to check out any of the topics that we ever did, that's a project that we carried out last summer.
And Brooke was also last year intern.
Right. Yeah, so the activity that we have here for you today is pretty simple. We just want to give you a taste of what like Burmese calligraphy in the written language looks like. And these words were sent to us by ATL. And actually, he tried our best to teach us how to say these words and remember them, but we did not do a good job. So, so yeah,
whatever word you would like to wish to.
Whatever word speaks to you, try to draw it out. Thank you. But this is another type of pen if you're more interested.
Were you gonna switch? Oh, it just happened. I don't know what the difference is.
Some of them are thinner.
Which one do you like the best?
I like the thick ones. The thick ones are fun. But some people have been writing some really cool like calligraphy with the thin ones, which are really cool. Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
If you think of any questions about what the experience was like, then we'll be here beyond this station.
Could you like go over like what a typical meeting looked like? Because it was virtual.
Yeah, so I can explain what we did last summer. So we had a lot of since we knew it was virtual, we kind of went in knowing we were going to have different projects that each of us are going to be part of. So I know Brooke and I were mainly a lot of projects together. We did like the website as well as like trying to figure out some income generation, how to like sell those. And so because it was kind of like project based, we kind of did our own timelines. So I know Maria was with the Royal kind of focused on that newsletter. And so based on that, we might request to meet with ATL virtually. In addition to our bi-weekly calls open anyways. And so that was just a way for us to, be able to be on top of things with our project, as well as meet with him just on a bi-weekly basis and catching up on what is going on in Thailand at that moment. And so, especially with the political unrest, it was kind of changing every time we would talk to him about it, as well as about stuff. And then in addition to that, we'd also be able to, we kind of started up on with English conversations with the students later on in the summer. So
yeah, so that's actually like 2 years ago, like our main focus with having to transition into a virtual format was hosting English conversation sessions with students just to just strengthen like their speaking and interview skills as students who like are aiming to particularly at like Thai universities, they need to pass the GED in English. So this is why like we had these types of sessions, but they do receive formal education at some in their English.
Yeah, it was just like a practice session for them to like speak and write in English. So.
Yeah, so that was every single week. That was the main focus of 2 years ago, but this past year we had
Continued
a whole bunch of different projects that we were able to work on.
We have like the Wallace Center partner with us to provide like.
Is there any questions? No?
Whoa, that looks so awesome.
Thank you.
Whoa, so cool.
Really good. Can you wait, show Henry? Sorry.
What were you gonna choose?
Community.
I have it.
Can you show me how to draw this one? Your technique. Oh, I just do like a really like
You know, how many
technique.
groups are there?
So basically
4 total?
So next one will be the last one.
Okay, cool. So then I'll
So what you do is
I have enough to.
whenever stroke is down, you make it thicker. So I just kind of like make it half and then I sew it. And then
I was like here, and then I was like,
with
oh
the
no,
rest of
I'm
it,
here
it's
instead of
so
here.
like-
I know, I lost myself at one
That's
point.
what
I don't know, but
Yeah, sure. Even Burmese. Oh, I don't know what Burmese.
Oh, well.
it's like the down and up strokes,
Yeah,
right?
uh-huh. What's his name? There's
Badass.
I mean, I think that is like the right way to do it, but like, I never really learned how to do it that way, so.
So we just the array box, which is cool, and that's a lot of different pieces.
That's really good. That's like, I'm like, hey, no, my
Well,
race also right now. So we got a lot of like, so like you can hear everything. Please, like I guess it's private
It's like kind of big and
I
also
have an
it
audience.
was fun. It was like worth another trip.
No,
Maybe also to like work for the other ones.
Yeah.
We'll have time for community. For community time, kind of, we'll talk like. But yeah, you didn't miss out too much. We'll get to do it again. Yeah. Okay, but it was.
We'll also do fun bonding. It's not just like.
Not just work.
Not just
Are we
work.
doing something this Thursday? Is that Thursday PM?
You guys start. Okay, cool. Well, if you guys have any questions at any point, feel free to talk to either me or Christina. Or Brooke. Or Brooke, sorry.
Or Noah.
Or Noah. Any past interns, they can answer questions. Yes. Thank you.
This is net. This is different. They're moving. Moving on, but
I'm gonna scoot past you here and grab one of these chairs to set this on.
Okay. So here we are doing a matching game. And so there are like the 6 acronyms or 6 terms on 6 of these cards. And then the other 6 kind of describe what they do. And this is a cheat sheet to help you with that. The definitions are usually more substantial, I guess, in the like cards, but this is kind of just a guideline. And also if you like have questions, you can ask one of us, or there's also more cheat sheets here, which will be sent out like during emails, like later on, as like more partnerships presentations happen. And yeah, I guess you just take turns and try to match the cards.
Go for it.
Go one at a time.
Oh, do I just like flip
random at the same time? Well, you can do one and the other, but like you don't know where anything is yet, so
Oh, I
you're kind of
see.
like trying to
Do you
figure
guys
out.
want to come over here too? You wanna look?
Yeah, you can read them out. Or
Or
you
you
can,
have to like
go.
make them like that. Okay, Steinbeck Liebman. Oh, you guys can read this. Wait, oh, what? Wait, are we supposed to point out what you're
No, you're supposed to, so you're supposed to like turn this one over, and then you try to find the acronym
Oh, I see.
for this one.
Okay.
And then as you go on, you should be finding where more and more acronyms are.
Oh, this is a definition.
Oh, you only do once, and then once I'm sorry. So you only flip 2 over, and if you get it wrong, then you just like, then you just move on.
No, we want to go.
So then the next person goes, it tries to go. You kind of playing individually.
Bro.
Like, you know when you didn't have any.
You should have your hand up.
And then,
Yes, I remember that.
you don't remember the one matching one, or you can match the symbol?
No, that's not it.
I don't think so.
I know, I played that even when I like, I'm like the last song, like I went crazy. I think that's so funny. Clearly she's never played a method. Okay, I played it verbal pause. You know what, somebody had me messed up in his song.
You're the first one who messed up. They've been plenty of people who mess up for you.
I thought you said you're the only one who messed up.
Guys, if there's a term that you guys flip over and you have like questions about, we have some awesome committee members here that would be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of acronyms in there. There's points to learn a little bit more about them.
Alright, sweet.
Oh no. Do we have to like keep track of these in our head?
Yeah.
I feel like we're supposed to work together.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Okay, social action for women. and
That was literally the one that I just
children.
wrote.
It's not, so I. That one. Designed by Glimmer to allow students to get deeper. Oh, do you remember which?
No, I don't remember finding it.
Okay.
I don't know if somebody tried that one.
Oh, that's another definition.
Okay, let's try to find this one. Were you gonna go for that one? Oh my god, I can do it. Gravitating towards the sun. No. She didn't work, the energy didn't work, you know?
Yeah.
So you guys feel free to start. I'm not gonna teach you how to read
I'm
it.
dumb, you literally just turned out. I saw you turn that one over.
This is IG.
IG, this one is grow. Grow and IG.
Hold to that one.
Grow,
Okay.
then grow. Okay, what?
What we talked about though,
Name? Okay, so chop.
Oh, wait. I really don't remember
Was this
actually.
chop?
I thought this one was chop. I'm not sure.
Really?
No. No. Wait.
Okay, that's IG, that's the definition.
Oh.
Maybe this one?
Wait, no, this
I
one
think
was
you're
chop.
supposed to flip over the terms after. Why do you have like 5 cards
No.
open?
No, I think it's math.
These are done.
Oh, okay. You can just put those in this side. You were just flipping over.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, not gonna. Are there any terms that you guys have questions on? Or any of the pictures I can explain to? We do have a lot of pictures to explain some of the terminology. Okay, I mean, it's not cool.
I mean, yeah.
So far, I know all these, maybe not so much the ones under.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't remember.
Oh,
Okay.
was that the one right below?
Maybe because
Was it?
these, but I don't know, instead of this one,
That one's a picture. 'cause
I think
can see
it might be this one. But if it's not, you should.
to educate members.
Yeah.
Yay! I don't know about that, but.
Wait.
This
Wait,
corner
that
one
was
is
the
looking really
definition.
sus.
That's a picture. What was that again?
Wait,
Is that a picture?
I'm so dumb. I literally was like Instagram. Obviously it's not.
Wait, when did I even turn over?
I don't know.
No, leave this one. Turn over this one.
I also had this. No, that was a.
I don't think anyone's done that one yet.
That's
Oh no, this is chop.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, girl. Wait, was it your turn?
No, go ahead.
Was
It's your
it
turn now. I give it to you.
Real quickly,
It's
you
your
guys
turn.
have 2 assignments, and have you been through all the stations? Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then we're just gonna go back to the. Okay, go for it. The final one.
Good. Oh, you guys are done? Yay! I did not, I tried like most of the years, but then I forgot about half of them. It's definitely my fault. Understand the direction. I guess like with the 50 seconds I have left. Yeah, I would love to talk about GHGs. Actually, fun fact, a lot of groups had questions about GHGs, and so GHG stands for Global Health University, which is basically like a way for you to learn more about the topics related to people health. And at GlobeMed, we split it into two types. So we have something called internal. I'm sure you guys have sat through internal, which are these presentations about topics related to public health, global health, and all that good stuff. And then, we have these presentations and activities. And then there's something called external. And so that's basically outreach to the members and like community, all that good stuff. And a lot of it is like tabling, and they would have like games on Main Street and like, something to just like bring people in and like ask them questions. And so yeah, that's basically like a way just like to educate about global health. Oh, so one second. Yeah. I'm sorry. Really took our Really? That woke you up? Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't know when you were easy to wake up. I woke up to this system alarm. I woke up at 6:08 and I was like, oh no, I think I just go to I literally laid down for an hour and did not fall asleep. Oh, really? I'm supposed to like 5:30. I had this try to experiment my MGRT. It's like. All right, hi everyone. Let's start coming back to the main group. We just have a few words and then we're gonna break up into some meetings.
All right, guys, I hope, this is pretty loud. I'm back in my stand-up mode. No. But I hope that was really informative. You guys feel more comfortable with the GROW application and kind of your understanding with SAW. I will be holding kind of in office hours. When we send out the application later tonight, there'll be a when to meet link with just some times, if you have some questions, if you need help going through the application, I'll be available. I'll be able to help out and answer any of your guys' questions. But I hope today y'all learned a lot, but also enjoyed learning it. I think we'll be going through to collective breath next. Claire.
All right. Actually, I think this is the first time I spoke at this meeting to everyone out loud, and I know there's some new faces, so I will reintroduce myself. My name is Noah. I use he and his pronouns, and I'm one of the co-presidents of GlobeMed. So our first, nope. Yeah, I think it's dead. It just keeps flashing red. All right, I'll just project that. Okay, so the first announcement is we are having a GlobeMed party. All right, so our Monster Bash will be this weekend. It is Saturday, October 23rd from 7 to 12. It will be at Jonathan and I's house. we didn't really want to, I don't know, we didn't put our address up here just so it's not circulating absolutely everywhere. So if you have questions, please DM the Instagram, ask Jonathan or I, that's cool. Just maybe don't, throw it everywhere. Yeah, so this is a ticketed event because we are fundraising for SAW. So all of this ticket money will go to SAW. So the ticket price is $7. And be sure to come in a costume or not. It's totally cool. That's up to you, but it is a costume party. So feel free to bring yourself in your costume.
Yeah, and also, again, it's not just a golden party, bring anyone you want. You don't have to know what the limit is. It can be-
Yeah,
so-
it can be anybody. Yes.
As far as getting your tickets, is there like a link on the Instagram or something and like, you know what I mean?
I believe the post.
So you're,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
oh, you just spend, yeah, it's on the post, but you just Venmo us $7 and then that's how you get your ticket.
Okay, and then you just have like a list of names.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be sure to put something in the recap email this week about that as well, so everyone can find the link. But it should also be on the post somewhere. And you can just Venmo the Globe account like $7 and you'll get your ticket that way.
And then if it's not clear, all of the money is going to go towards our fundraising efforts directly back to SAW. So the money isn't being used for like snacks or whatever, it's going to SAW.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so a few announcements. I was going to talk about this whole meeting. The GROW application will be released tonight. You'll have about 2.5 weeks to complete the whole thing. If you have any questions, ask Adam about it. Yeah, so as always, this will be on our YouTube channel as well. We have been recording the entire meeting, at least mainly my group when we were going in stations. But if any of you do not want to be a part of that, please let us know so we can edit you out of that. Let's see. Oh, yes, fill out the committee form. If any of you are new or have questions about the committee form, please come to Ajit and I. Committees are basically how you can get more involved in GlobeNet. And so if you have questions about that, like I said, please feel free to reach out or reach out to anyone on eBoard who's the head of the committee might want to join. And yes, the next partner call will be this Wednesday at 9 p.m. So do we have a room for that yet, or do we know it's in there? Okay, yes. So, right. So this Wednesday at 9 p.m. in Lindner Hall at 11:40. Yeah, at room 1140. We'll be having our partner call there. So feel free to join us. Anything for that? Right. That is usually the room we use for our co-pres office hours. So if you want to stop by before then and talk to Ajit about anything GlobeNet related, please feel free to do so.
Oh, I have something to say. So for the call, anyone's invited, and we also have like a little note stock, and that's just to follow along. So if you're like sure you can follow along or anything, like we're in like a group environment, so like we'll be like updating each other, and then like there's a doc. If you can't make it to the call and you're still interested, that's something that we can definitely make more public.
Yeah, we do, like she said, we do take notes every single call. So if you just kind of want to see what happened, what the updates are, we can obviously, let you see those notes and get the update. Does anyone have any questions over any of these announcements, or the partner call, or the GROW application at all by any chance? Yes. That is very true. Okay, so before we break off into our committees, we are going to do our collective breath. So does anybody have a quote they would like to pontificate upon as they breathe? There's not a single quote. I think that's what silence means. I think it's your call to action.
There's an organ I'm part of called Girls Rock Cincinnati, and our director had an interview, and there's this quote by him that I like a lot. The question is, why is being involved in your community so important to you? It's a little dramatic and existential, but there's no reason other than I don't see it as an obligation. I don't see a point in being alive in a community without participating in it to the fullest of my capacity. Sometimes that extends my physical and emotional capacity, but ultimately doesn't feel the choice. It feels like a demand that I'm happy to oblige. I'll send you the link in the group.
I think that is a very good collective breath post. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so we are going to do our collective breath now. So if you feel comfortable to do so, please close your eyes or soften your gaze. All right, and then breathe in and out. Okay, well, that concludes our meeting, except for committee time. So if you are in committee, please join your committee leaders to discuss whatever kind of committee details you have to. And if you're not, or you want to join, please feel free to ask Ajit and I will be circulating around.
So we have internal, come over to this corner, there's an external, come over to this corner, internal, campaigns over there. Service advocacy over there. Partnerships in that.
Kate's in the middle here.
Oh, hello, Henry. You say something? Nope.
Anything you did 3 hours ago?
Okay.